Hello, good afternoon. My name is Jinhyun Jeon. I'm come from Korea and based in the Netherlands. I'm designer. I'm very pleased to be invited to work with Michelin restaurants, hotels, museums in the Netherlands and abroad. Through exploring with the synesthetic effect, I'm aiming for creating a niche intuitive dining experience whose ultimate design approach is to investigate in terms of how to teach or train our senses where it is processed in the brain. I'm presenting how I explore my project sensory stimuli, and this speak is untitled, What If Tableware Becomes Extensions of Our Senses? The term synesthesia comes from the Greek word syn meaning together and esthesia meaning perception. Combine these two words mean joint perception. What this in fact means that some people have a connection between different sensory areas in their brain, so-called sensory cross-wiring. This diagram visualizes how this neurological phenomenon can be experienced. For example, one can taste colors or hear smells. There are many different forms of synesthesia, but however, the classification of the whole picture of synesthesia has not been specified yet, and it still remains very unclear and highly controversial in various fields such as literature, art, media, medicine, and so forth. Therefore, I created this map reinforcing a classified synesthesia. And this red flowing line shows the main journey of my investigation. I focused on mainly non-genetic based synesthesia. And it has been shown that there are many different forms of synesthesia. But in short, I'd like to differentiate between two main types, genetic based synesthesia and non-genetic based synesthesia, called acquired synesthesia. The genetic-based synesthesia means that you are born with this connection in your brain. The acquired synesthesia is a term used for people who are trained to have synesthetic experience due to a loss of one of their senses following accident. By losing one sense, other senses become heightened and replace the sense that is no longer there. He is a biologist and synesthete who has created awareness around this phenomenon in order to see how it is possible to induce non-synesthetic experience in people without this condition. In my research, I have also consulted several foundations for disabled. Blind with Camera is an initiative of Beyond Sight Foundation prompting the art of photography with the blind to speak out their unique experiences, challenges, and hopes. The Helen Research Center works to advance socially inclusive design through practical research with industries. According to this research, people with disabilities complain of poor design in products targeted at them. I realized that product aesthetics are equally as important to a person who can see as it is to a blind because it impacts how they are perceived by the other people. I conducted my research in form of proofs before I show the results which I previously investigated through co-creation session. Now you can start to visualize your own shape, smell, taste, sound, touch of sweetness, bitterness, sourness, and saltiness. For example, the smell of bitterness or the sound of sourness or texture of saltiness and so more. You can use the paper and a pencil prepared on your chair. Firstly, to make a cross-grid diagram as you see on the screen. And now I will give you 3 minutes to visualize your own database of unbiased palettes, adjectives. Someone might feel very difficult complying as uncomfortable or awkward to do it because we are not familiar with these synesthetic ways of perceiving and we can't get used to these cross-wiring perceptions. On the contrary, some others feel may be easy more exciting, which means that some of you might have been unconsciously acquired well. Moreover, some may be synesthetic who has this ability in their brain by nature. This is one of the reasons which I ask people to show their representation of how smell, sounds, and texture look to them. This probe, as a visualization of taste, what you just have performed is the way of synesthesia-like mapping, which forces you to be aware of your own senses and actually analyze you from a different perspective as cross-wiring sensory. Here are some more results through this co-creation session. Between participants, they show some similarity, but also very differentiation. Some are very simple, it took less than a minute. For some others, it took around 5 minutes. However, there are some cases that someone needs more than 20 minutes. Someone used to write a word instead of drawing. Through this session, here is no any rule or right answer at all. It is aiming for triggering your joint perception in order to perceive in a different ways. From this, I mapped my own drawings in order to further investigate how our sensory experience could shape the object we use every day. This mapping is materialization of drawings I made. Based on the study of taste, I developed this series of tableware which are exaggerated in an experimental direction. Through this investigation, I'm questioning how our tableware can become extensions of our senses. I decided to create a path to generate a different design process of tableware, which addresses senses in a stronger and more multi-directional way. I decided to research our intuitive dining habits in the dark, where we cannot see at all, but we use a combination of the rest of senses in alternative ways. By investigating films of dining in the dark, through physical video tracing and analysis, I realized how people use non-visual senses to feel the food and how this gives a mental picture of dining. And the mapping of others' intuitive dining habits in the dark shows the commonality with how children eat. This made me realize how much our senses come into play with every bite we take. In my opinion, this simple gesture is actually a series of sensory experiences. When we see the food, we are using our sight. When we cut the food or prod it with a fork, we use consistency of the food. When the food comes closer to your face, we smell it. And through putting it in our mouth, we both feel and taste it. This experiment research leads me to the conclusion where I question the role of the tools with which we eat and how they should be designed. I made scenarios how things would work if we were to lose our senses. This is an hour immersion experiment in behavior research. I made it in 2 minutes video for artistic inspiration. Most of my face was covered with a plastic wrap that blocked my sight, smell, facial touch, and sound, seemingly like losing all my facial senses during an hour immersion experiment. What if we disrupt our senses, how things would work? Based on the research of sensory loss, I kept developing the series of Tableware through exploring sensory disturbance. I realized that if we block our senses, we could experience the enhanced sensory effects. Such as via dining earplug, we could hear the enhanced sound even we bite bananas. Have you experienced during blocking your ears when you're eating? Through blocking ears, the enhanced sound as juicy, creamy, chewy, crunchy intensify or influence the taste matters. Via four-finger stole, we could focus on touching the enhanced texture of food using only one finger. What about enhanced taste or smell or visual appearance? I'm therefore creating a series of sensory utensils and tableware, interweaving with the general architect of the spoon for constant daily use for general people. It stimulates our lips and taste buds in our tongue and the skin in our mouths. Also to extend the moment of spreading smell from mouth through to nose when the food keeping longer in our mouth. What if tableware becomes extensions of our senses? This is 2 minutes video. Through this video, I would like to say that rather than being cultural point of view or in regards to function or the specific food, I propose that tableware should design to suit our intuitive and mostly subconscious sensory abilities. The sensory dining event that I created was held in Amsterdam Lloyd Hotel and Cultural Embassy, entitled Experimental Gastronomy. I was invited to create the summer edition of Steinbeißer, and I presented a series of sensory appetizer and stimuli to challenge the culinary experience and to manipulate the way of eating and the speed. It challenges conventional dining table settings. We choose mattress in order to lead guests' unruly behavior indulgently. Guests were given a chance to choose their preferable utensils themselves. It is an unusual social dining. The 5-course plant-based menu is being served made of local ingredients from organic and mostly biodynamic quality. They talk all about sensory utensils and how they feel with the color, texture, temperature, and the foam volume throughout the event. See the heightened colors and the foams. Touch the texture of food with the hands. Taste and touch via tongue and lips, closing your eyes. Serious, chuckled, and holding its mouth longer. In our mouth, there are hundreds of muscles that control the movements of our tongue, lips, cheeks, and so on. Sensory stimuli utensils induce the movements of perioral muscles in our mouth to act and use much more unconsciously. Someone likes to kiss. We planned approximately 1.5 hour dining. However, it lasted for around 4 hours, which means people ate extremely slowly. The guests were also amazed when they recognized the time after the whole session of dining. Stimuli sensory dining was held in Michelin restaurant during Dutch Design Week. As a creative director, I was aiming for a new way of enhanced sensory culinary experience and challenge the creation food menu and the services. Now 6 minutes video will show how the event flows.
Ja, ik zie dat het heel over mannelijk en vrouwelijk smaakt.
Het is dat wij bezig is, zo in een normaal restaurant kijkt, dan
I propose that each menu has its own concept, focus on particular sense. It has been developed by the rigor of experimental research and tryout based on taste formulas I created. Victoria and Albert Museum in London hosts a Friday Late program. I was invited to showcase that project I created, so-called visualization of taste. It took experimental gastronomy to another level. The series of stimuli, utensils, and tableware enriched the culinary experience, teasing senses through sound design and taste formulas. By providing a platform through which to test ideas and challenge convention, it aims to inspire and provoke, whilst encouraging audiences to interact with cross-wiring sensory joint perception in new ways of tasting. Texture, weight, form, color, and volume are applied to design proposal and each menu concept. She keeps watching, touching, and hearing, more pressing a kiss upon a tactile plate without food. Some has a soft laugh, sometimes a little chuckle. On the contrary, some are very serious. During 5 minutes, guests listen to sound recorded. However, the sound doesn't match with the food taste. unpurposely. Does it make them so serious? He throws his eyes up again and again. She really focused on tasting seriously. She sucked on a volume spoon like a candy, like a child. Was she hearing the sour taste? However, she suddenly frowned with concentration. She touched the bumps of spoon via tongue, continuously even without food. Smile, shy. She was satisfied and smiled contentedly while listening the sound, which stimulates our appetite and taste matters with sensory stimuli utensils. I'm questioning, does candy volume spoon actually influence on our appetite and the way of eating or the speed? Does sound effect on the taste matters and increase our appetite indeed? Here's the sound design I created to visualize your own associational picture of sound. Closing your eye would help you to relax and focus on triggering multisensory. It lasts for 5 minutes.
Can you visualize the taste?
How are you enjoying the sound? How was the taste? This is the way of experiencing multisensory. I hope you have tasted a full course of delicious sounds. By doing so, I wish to simplify that taste is created as a combination of 5 senses: temperature, color, texture, volume, weight, and form are applied to my design proposal. What I propose is that the tableware we use for eating should not just be a tool for placing food in our mouth, but it should become extensions of our body. I'm questioning in the process of design. What if our body, where is processed in the brain, can be teased? What if we could design our unconsciousness? What if we could navigate a path to new ways of perceiving in the process of design? What if we stimulate our latent or dormant senses, manipulating our thought pattern? What if tableware becomes extensions of our senses? Although someone who doesn't have a tongue by nature or who cut off a tongue, they are still can taste. Because there are approximately 50 numbers of gustatory cells located in 10,000 numbers of taste buds, not only via tongue, but also via palate, pharynx, tonsil, even inside cheek, and so on. We can taste via various parts of the mouth, indeed. It has been argued that if we are put in a dark room for more than 3 days, our brain begins to believe that we are blind. If we lose a sense, the rest of other senses become heightened, which is a type of acquired synesthesia. Our brain can find alternative ways to sense a new environment. This inspires me to investigate how trickery of senses can enrich culinary experience and how the taste of food altered by synesthesia affect performance and new settings. Focusing on ways of making eating a much richer experience, I have been developing a wide range of sensory tableware and also audio-visual design, aiming for challenging our senses even in the moment when the food is still on its way to being consumed. How can we train our brain, our senses, and our intuition? No longer think, just sense. Thank you.